Oh my gosh. Are you not pumped? Oh, one of the best games. Not even just a playoff game, but one of the best games I've ever seen in my entire life. I'm going to get into it in a second. I'm just going to type this out. My hands are shaking. Happy New Year, everybody, by the way. We'll get right into this. Sorry for keeping you guys waiting, but like my heart. Oh, what a win! What a win! And what a way to start out the new year, baby. Georgia takes out Ohio State in one of the best games you'll ever see. And by the way, one of the best days of college football that you'll ever see. The best college football playoffs that we've ever had. Especially, well, speaking of the playoff semis, TCU pulled off probably one of the biggest upsets I think I've ever seen in any given tournament or postseason play. TCU, and I get it, they made the playoffs, they're 12-1. No, the fact of the matter is TCU came in this season with expectations of being a 4 to 6 win team. They not only blow everybody away with how well TCU played, and we'll get to that in a minute. I am so pumped up right now. But TCU not only blows expectations out of the way, they go ahead and play in their conference title game, lose, but they got there, they got in the playoffs and gave Michigan a hell of a game. But man, Georgia battled back from this one. Guess what? Georgia was losing this game for, I think, 59 minutes. I'm not even kidding. Like 58, 59 minutes, something like that, 57. The ESPN win percentage, the highest it was at 95.7% when Ohio State was up 38-24 to end the third quarter. And Georgia played the best damn fourth quarter I think I've ever seen in my entire life. This is not just, a new era of Georgia football, but this is something spectacular that we have for the future with what Kirby Smart has done. Holy crap, Stetson Bennett, man, gave everything he had, especially in the fourth quarter. On the second year in a row when it mattered most, in the biggest game of his life, he shows up, not only shows up, but wins the damn game. Everyone who has anything against Stetson Bennett, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. What is it now? Like, for real, what is it now? He beat Alabama, he beat Clemson, he's beaten Ohio State. You could say, well, the defense, did that. Well, actually, he didn't beat Clemson, my bad on that. But he won us playoff games. He's now 3-0 as a starter in playoffs. He's averaging, 300 yards passing in the playoffs or something like that. I mean, he's had ridiculous games in the playoffs when it has mattered most. Our defense, I'll tell you this much, first half, terrible. Let's be real here. Our defense played pretty bad. But man, the second half adjustments and what were made, especially going into the third quarter, really, middle of the third quarter. After that, defense played spectacular. I knew coming in, Ohio State was going to get the yards. They were going to throw for, I think when I made my prediction, I had it 38-24 Georgia. And I had Stroud throwing for like 300 yards. But I thought our defense was going to be able to create some type of turnovers. We weren't able to do that today. Nearly almost cost us. But man, wow, what a game. I can't believe how this game ended. I'm not going to lie. When we were down 38-27, I was like, oh, this game's over. I said it. I was like, this game's over. Stetson Bennett is not good enough to win a shootout. Guess what he does? Wins in a shootout. CJ Stroud played amazing, to be honest with you. No turnovers for him. We only were able to sack him 3 times. Javon Bullard, he's one of the most underrated pass rushing DBs in the country. Recorded another sack, and by the way, I think he has 3 or 4 sacks on the year or something like that. Our DBs played not up to standards, obviously, played pretty bad, but this was an emotional win. Our offense, Todd Monken, give him a lot of credit, but man, oh man, Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett, guys. A legacy. I guess this was his legacy game if you guys follow the memes or whatnot. But it really it wasn't out of nowhere. I'll say that. But it really feels like I'm honestly I'm speechless with how well Stetson Bennett played in the fourth quarter. Really, Georgia set to play TCU. I'm not going to make this too long because it is New Year's. But man, oh man, came down to the last second. The first game this year that came down to the last second for UGA. We're the only undefeated team left. We have TCU to play. TCU is, like I said, one of the best underdog stories I think I've ever seen in my life, in my opinion. And, you know, you take it at how this is. This is like, for TCU to make it to the national title is like 11 or 12 seed making it to the Final Four in March Madness. It's rare, but it's spectacular. You know what I mean? TCU came in this year with a lot of veteran players, I will say. Obviously, Alex Duggan, one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He won the quarterback of the year, somehow didn't win Heisman. They were all quarterbacks, by the way. So there's that. But yeah, this TCU team played absolutely outstanding today. I mean, to be honest with you, they held Michigan to 6 points in the first half. I get it. All these people were telling Michigan is a second half team. I knew that as well. And I knew TCU played games like this all the time, but they won again. I'm not going to say it was a miracle because they were leading the entire game. In fact, there was not a point where they were losing. They led 60 minutes of the game. They kind of dominated that first half, but what was I saying? I'm looking at the chat right now. My bad. But I'll get to the chat in a second. But they win these close games. They've been doing this all year. In fact, TCU, and this is, I got to fact check this again, but TCU was like 13th in the nation in scoring margin, margin of victory. Which, you're like, well, that sounds good. Well, they were also 12-1 coming into this game. And teams like Alabama, and there was an 8-win team, an 8-4 team ahead of TCU in scoring margin or margin of victory. Why do I keep saying scoring margin? Margin of victory. So there's that as well. But man, yeah, Georgia takes care of business. Came down to the last second. I cannot. I'm going to say this about Ryan Day. He coached a pretty damn hard game. He knew his team was not. Well, I'm not going to say that. He knew his team was the underdog, and he had to come out with a game plan, fit best to win, obviously, but they weren't going to blow us out. Let's just be real. The game plan was pretty simple. Try to beat UGA with athletic wide receivers. Let's just be real here. Their offensive line played really well. Their offensive line played outstanding, in my opinion. And CJ Stroud, man, my goodness. Was that the best game of his career? It definitely one of the best games in his career. I'm sorry, I'm just getting distracted. I wanted to watch the post game, when they do that anyway. But CJ Stroud played absolutely amazing. Ohio State's rush offense, everything I expected it to be, not good. If you want to beat UGA, you're gonna have to be able to run the ball. And Ohio State, they can't run the ball in UGA. They have a pretty solid and Ohio State gets a lot of heat, but statistically they do have a good rush offense. People telling you that statistically, you got to look at the stats. I get it who they're playing, it doesn't really, they're playing in the Big Ten. A lot of people don't respect the Big Ten as much as they should. The Big Ten has 6 of the 20 best defenses in the nation. So let's just be real here. Stop with the Ohio State can't run. The problem is Ohio State can't run in big games. That's just facts. Go ahead and look at it. This game, they had 90 yards rushing, I think, maybe 100. somewhere around that. Not good enough. Against Michigan, they had what, 80, 90. Against Michigan last year, they had 80 or 90. Against Clemson one year, they had like 100 and something, but Justin Fields was like 50 of it. So, but yeah, Ohio State's rush offense cost them this game offensively, even though they were able to score 40 points. But defensively, man, Ohio State kills themselves with explosive plays. Georgia was getting killed and burnt on just about every route today. Marvin Harrison, the best wide receiver in the country. I don't even think that's a debate, but it is what it is. Whoever you want to throw in there. I'll take Marvin Harrison against anybody. His route running is insane. His route running is almost as good as Chris Olave. Chris Olave and Jerry Jeudy are probably the two best route runners I think I've ever seen in my life. Now that's debatable because, well, I'm only 21 and a lot of you are older, so you probably have seen someone else. But we're in a time period where route running, if you're an elite route runner, you can, you're going to be a really good wide receiver. Period. I'm going to get to the chat now. Georgia building on new class at Smart, showing how great of a coach he is. Yeah. Recruiting. Listen, recruiting's one thing. Georgia and Ohio State are dead even in recruiting. Like, I think Ohio State edges us out maybe by like 0.03 or something like that in the recruiting average for overall. But we're literally neck and neck. And I'm not, recruiting matters in college football. It just does. Our players, and their players, a lot of their star players are 5-star recruits. Let's be real here. CJ Stroud, 5-star. Marvin Harrison, 5-star. I almost said Olave. My gosh. I'm drawing a blank on his name. Amuda or whatever, a 5-star. Then you go on their defense. You got 5-star DBs. I think a 5-star. Everyone on their starting defensive line is a 5-star. So recruiting obviously matters. But man, coach, give Kirby Smart a lot of credit, and especially Todd Monken, though. Todd Monken deserves the game ball, and so does Stetson Bennett. TCU got beat by Kansas State. This means nothing, to be honest with you. TCU also beat Michigan today. Ohio State lost to Michigan by 21 points. Georgia only beat Ohio State at home. At home, that was a home game. At home by 1. So, but hey, what an awful game we played and still won. Yeah, we played terrible defensively. Offensively, I can't ask for any more from our offense today. I literally can't. Like, what more do you want from our offense? Scored 42 points. Defensively, yeah, defense played pretty bad. But, this was one of the best offenses in the country, period. Maybe even being the best offense. They're not like a Tennessee offense who is completely different than Ohio State. I don't know why people were comparing Tennessee's offense to Ohio State's offense. They're completely opposite. I'm sorry. It just is what it is. But Ohio State's offense, really, really good. Ryan Day, one of the best offensive minds in the entire country. That's not debate. But you know who's number one? Todd Monken. I would take Todd Monken over anybody, period. He called an almost, I'm not going to say it was a perfect game, but he called a really, really, really good fourth quarter. The best it had to be, the best it could have been in the fourth quarter. Todd Monken called it perfect fourth quarter. For first half was iffy with some plays, but Stetson Bennett was a little bit rattled. But when he settled down and he knew the game was on the line, he came out and played. Anyway, Georgia destroys. Oh my gosh, I'm so jittery I can't talk. Georgia destroys TCU for the Natty. We'll see. I'll give you my prediction on that soon. How in the heck did Georgia win this? Stetson Bennett and coaching and our players stepping up when it mattered most, period. End of discussion. Offensively especially. Did everything we could. So, all right. Imagine 2 whole points, and that is what eliminated the Big Ten from the national title. 2 whole points. Oh, you mean today? Oh, so no, it was the missed field goal. Georgia missed 2 field goals today. 2 huge field goals. Go back to the first quarter. Number one, we were playing Ohio State. I knew we needed every point. Jackpot missed that one. I think it was wide left. I was like, damn, we're going to need that. We needed that. But then it was 35-24. We missed that field goal wide right, I think, that time. And that was probably the biggest miss because that would have cut it to a one possession game. And I was just starting to get really antsy and jittery. Took that stupid sack before Georgia scored the last TV. Yeah, that was a terrible sack. Terrible. He had probably a handful of plays that I bet you, I know, he wishes he had back. And that was one of them. Another one was their last play. And the play calling for Ohio State was suspect. You get down to the 33, right? Great. You're in field goal range. That's what you think. Ryan Day, and this is me being a college football fan. Ryan Day, why are you settling for a 50-yard field goal? You have 2 timeouts, 20 seconds left. You're going to settle for a field goal from 50 yards? Thank you, buddy. I mean, that was a terrible coaching. The last 20 seconds for Ohio State was terrible coaching. Just saying. But yeah, CJ Stroud, and on that 3rd and 11, he was rolling out to his right, cost them 10 seconds. It didn't really matter about the time because obviously this was the last play of the game. Well, the field goal was going to be the last play of the game. But, didn't he have it? No, he didn't have any timeouts. You would have liked Ohio State to maybe run an out route, get him to the 27, 25, make it an easier field goal. But Ryan Day, thank you. I mean, I don't know what else to say. But Ryan Day coached a pretty hard game today. I will say that. If Michigan had to lose, including 2 crappy calls by officials, it makes me feel a little better than Ohio State lost the way they did, Lowell. Ohio State they collapsed in the 4th quarter. So the play call was questionable. Yeah, see, that's why I was just explaining. To me, it made no sense that they got down to inside the 35. I think they're at the 33. They run a play that had not been working all day, maybe one time with Xavier Johnson that they put out running back. That stretch play, but they rush it to the left side. Well, Ohio State, especially in this game, couldn't run the ball up the middle, and they couldn't run the ball laterally to the left. They were having their best chances to run the football running through the right. Design run plays, at least. CJ Stroud scrambling, is what it is on that. But the design runs to the right were working a little bit more than running to the left. They had only one good run when they had a design run to the left. But maybe their kicker wanted them to kick it on that hash. I mean, as a kicker, he's a right-footed kicker, so I guess that's why. But, I mean, they couldn't run the football all game. Their best rush was with C.J. Stroud. So, national title set, guys. Can't believe this. I'm going to get out of here soon. How did Michigan lose? They were moving. Oh, how did Ohio State? The Ohio State, my bad. How did the Ohio State lose? They were moving the ball like crazy all game. Georgia just wanted it more. I'm just going to be honest with you. The play calling defensively was suspect. I'm going to say this. Why are you in man 100% of the time? Oh, well, not 100%. Like, it was like 85% of the time you're in man and you're getting burnt all day. I get it. You do have a really good defense, but to be honest with you, our DBs are our weakest point on the team, our weakest group on the team. So Kirby does this against all these elite offensive teams. It's only worked once, and that was last year in a national title game. But we won a shootout, and that's something, I'm going to be real, I could not fathom winning a shootout against Ohio State. I thought if we were going to win, we would have to dominate line of scrimmage and win kind of like Michigan did. Pull away in the 4th quarter. I was not. If it was, I honestly thought that if it was a shootout, Ohio State would win. What are you talking about? Can't run the number 1 back and number 2 back out with injury. Can't run the number 1 running back and number 2 back. You mean when they're running well, Ohio State hasn't been able to run the ball all year since Mayan Williams got hurt. I mean, but it's next man up mentality, bro. You got Ohio State has 3 5-star running backs. Like, come on. Ohio State played not to lose at the end. Yep, that's exactly what happened. Ryan Day, Ohio State fans will get on him for this. I kind of want to hear from an Ohio State fan live, but this has happened multiple times. Like with the way that he ended the game against what was it, Clemson, his first year. So people gave him a pass, even though it was a playoff game. A lot of fans were pissed, but they gave him a pass for it because it was his first season and his first loss. Then he did it. He did it against Oregon. He didn't have the lead, but the questionable play calling last year against Michigan as well. His play calling sometimes can be really suspect, and that's something that he's got to work on. And Ohio State fans, I'm gonna be honest with you, next year could be a little bit of a disappointment for you if there are any Ohio State fans here. But I'm not going to talk about that. That kick was horrible. Yeah, I know. I can't believe that. You didn't play an awesome game. You played a really good game, good team, and should have lost, obviously. Yeah, I'm talking about our defense. I thought our offense played pretty well. Do you think they will fire Day when he has only lost? No, he's not getting fired. The crowd is chanting overrated, overrated. Everyone knows the Big Ten shouldn't have gotten 2 teams. It's hard to – I will say this, though. This is the first playoff that we've ever had where we've had 2 non-conference champions in the playoffs, and both of them were coming off a loss. That makes zero sense to me. Georgia got in last year. They deserved to get in, but again, they lost their conference game. Ohio State didn't even play in our conference game. So, but hey, they were one of the 4 best teams, period. So, can't really say much about that. I love Stetson Bennett. He gets no respect. Well, I know. Trust me. Marv got hurt this year and Jameson last year. Both carved up Georgia once. They got hurt. Georgia rolled, but props to Georgia, go win the Natty. Yeah. Do you think Georgia can beat? Yeah, Georgia can obviously beat TCU. Georgia's going to be a 10-point favorite. Is that too much? Is that not enough? I don't know. A 10-point favorite. See, I'm going to be real with you. TCU is not a good matchup. Or sorry, Georgia's not a good matchup for TCU. Georgia, and people said the same thing for Michigan. So hey, I was proven wrong with that. But Georgia, at least in my opinion, they have more talent than Michigan, yes. But I think they're a little bit better coached and a lot more better coached. Let's be real here. Jim Harbaugh had coached a horrific game today. But give TCU a lot of credit. Number 1 rushing team. When was this? 2000? Yeah, 2019. Didn't do much against Clemson. Didn't do much against Clemson. I was talking about Ryan Day. He was about to turn Texas Christian. Oh, my God. No one could stay. Dude, how are you acting like you did anything? I'm a fan. UJ outplayed the Bucks. I didn't even say that. I mean, both teams were he obviously is a fan who knows nothing. Georgia clearly outplayed Ohio State in the 4th quarter. I don't know what game you were watching, but that was obvious. I'm not hating. Just listening to this guy is crazy. Okay, bet. Yes, please leave. Get off. Okay, bet. But yeah, should have lost this game. What? Anyway, Georgia, guess what? Ohio State sucks to suck. Still haven't beaten UGA ever. Will you? I don't know. Ohio State fans, sorry, it is what it is. You played a really good game. You played the best team in the country. Let's be real. You had 35 days to prepare. Actually, let's be real here. You knew you were going to make the playoffs after you lost to Michigan. So technically, you kind of had 42 days to prepare. You didn't know who you're going to play until Selection Sunday. But Ohio State, sorry, you had a really good season. You got outplayed in the 4th quarter. Guess what? That cost you the game. So to the Ohio State fan that's mad, saying words I've never even said. Is what it is, man. You got outplayed in the fourth quarter, and that's just facts. But anyway, and Ohio State missed a game-winning field goal. Well, yeah, I mean, Georgia missed 2 field goals as well. And you play the best team in the country, apparently. No, Georgia's the best team in the country. Sorry. But anyway. All right, guys. Georgia gets to play TCU in a national title in California, January 9th, 8 days from now. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys join the Patreon page if you can. Hold on. What do you mean how? What do you mean how? Georgia completely outplayed Ohio State in the fourth quarter. We outscored you 15-3. Yeah. What do you mean? I mean, what game were you watching? The fourth quarter was dominated by UGA. Sorry, I mean, Georgia had 160 yards to your 80 in the fourth quarter. You scored 3 points. You got dominated in the fourth quarter. I'm sorry. I mean, but anyways, never mind. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. I'm going to get out of here. I'm tired. Go Dogs, baby. Happy New Year, by the way. I don't know if I said that, but Georgia gets to play TCU. We get to play TCU. I was figuring Georgia would win this game, but went a little bit different than what I thought. And like I was telling a lot of other Georgia fans, I would not be confident in Georgia to win a shootout against Ohio State. You know what they do? They prove me wrong, and Stetson Bennett does as well. Shout out to all you guys for watching. Over 200 of you were live. Thank you guys so much for all the support. If you're new, leave a like. And if you can, go ahead and subscribe. Only takes 2 seconds to do that. Dog fans, we got one more game, baby. One more game where we play TCU. Obviously, I keep saying that. And if you want my score prediction, I'll give it to you right now. I'm not going to get too in-depth right now. I'm going to take the Dogs. I think it'll be a hard-fought game. But I'll go with this. I'm going to go 38-23. I think it will be a hard-fought game by TCU. The talent mismatch is going to be the biggest thing. Sonny Dykes is a really good play caller, but so is Todd Monken. And with the elite talent that he's been given, it's going to be a mismatch for his defense. And TCU's defense is pretty bad. But anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Have a happy new year. And I'll see you guys next Monday night. Win or lose, I'll be here. Win or lose. I hope we win, get to 15-0 for the first time in program history, and be the third team ever to do it, and win back-to-back national titles. Man, oh man, it feels good to be a dog, baby. Have a good day, guys. See